Hello, everyone. I want to begin by thanking the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet, the organizers, and all of you for prioritizing everybody's health and hosting this virtual bus tour. This has been one of the toughest years most of us can recall. But right now we have so many reasons to be optimistic. The light at the end of this dark tunnel is getting brighter by the minute. We are administering the safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines faster each week, faster than the federal government can get them to us, and we are going to sprint out of this pandemic this year. But until everybody can be vaccinated, we need to be patient and vigilant. We need to continue to mask up and maintain social distance, avoid crowds, practice good hygiene, and make a plan to get a vaccine, your shot of hope when your turn comes. While this year is different, and the challenges brought forth by this pandemic were unexpected, one thing has never changed, a value that will never change, is that mine is foremost an education first administration. If you've heard me speak at all, you probably heard me say that. The importance of educators and education is at the core of our values. Education is how we prepare our people to be leaders in the post-COVID economy. It's how we begin the hard work to redress historic inequities. Education is central to how we build the better Kentucky we all want. Education is also how we ensure Kentucky's workforce is up to the task of taking on the jobs of the future and not chasing the jobs of the past. My administration's been working hard to represent your interests, to support education and workforce development through a variety of programs and initiatives, mainly administered by the EWDC. In the budget that I presented to the General Assembly in January, I proposed historic investments in education at a time when college training is absolutely essential to moving our workforce and our economy forward. We are not only pushing for $17 million in additional funding for post-secondary institutions, that's a 2% increase in general fund investment. We've also proposed $50 million for much needed asset preservation projects and nearly $20 million in additional funding to help campuses cover pension obligations. In addition, my budget would create the Better Kentucky Promise, a new program that will expand the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship to provide the last dollar assistance for nearly 6,300 Kentuckians to complete their associate's degree or certificate. One reason we're looking to expand Work Ready is because we're proud of what that scholarship's already accomplished. The program helps cover up to 60 hours of tuition for anyone who has not yet earned an associate's degree, and in many instances, the assistance is free. Adults can enroll in a wide variety of high-demand technical programs, including healthcare, manufacturing, business, IT, construction, skilled trades, transportation, even logistics, with more than 350 courses currently available. Overall, the scholarship has served 5,600 students and provided more than $16 million in scholarships for adult learners around the state since its launch in 2017. College affordability. It's a priority in my administration. We must ensure that every Kentuckian has access to educational opportunities that lead to a sustainable and successful career, an active and meaningful role in their community, a financially stable household, and the highest quality of life possible. We need to achieve these goals without saddling our students with decades of debt. I believe that's a moral imperative. And I want to thank our campuses and the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education for its commitment to that goal. This past summer, CPE and our public universities held strong to their values and preserved college affordability with the smallest average tuition increase in decades. This allowed resident undergraduate students to enter this school year with an average tuition increase of only 0.7%. Kentucky's 60 by 30 goal is a goal that seeks to raise the percentages of working age Kentuckians with a high quality post-secondary degree or certificate to 60% by 2030. And I can think of few investments with a better rate of return. I can think of no greater lever to re-energize our workforce and position our economy for a robust and equitable recovery than education. And I can think of no greater opportunity to break the cycles of intergenerational poverty and provide a path to economic resiliency for all Kentuckians. The latest research from the CPE shows that a graduate with a bachelor's degree now earns close to $1 million more than a high school graduate over a lifetime. And graduates with an associate degree can earn around $400,000 more. In addition, Those with college education, that experience, have a greater appreciation for the diversity of our communities, lower rates of incarceration, and lower rates of substance use disorder. They're more likely to teach the value of education to their children. I know. My dad is first generation college graduate. These are the values that you all embody and the values that will lead our Commonwealth to a bright future and help build the better Kentucky we all want. Thank you for inviting me to talk about this crucially important issue. And now I get to turn it over to our resident educator, the individual that ensures that we are always pushing forward in public education, always looking to help those that may fall off in certain gaps or certain areas, and knowing that education breaks those cycles of poverty and gives us a bigger, brighter future. That's our Lieutenant Governor, Jacqueline Coleman.
There we go. Thank you so much, Governor, for being here today and for kicking us off. I'm so grateful to be able to work in an administration that we know values education as much as you do, and who allows us to and encourages us to continue on in this way. So I want to thank all of you for joining us here today for the Discover You virtual bus tour. We recently marked the 1-year anniversary of the very first COVID-19 case in Kentucky. And so now we're looking back on a year of lessons learned. I always say the pandemic has certainly created problems of its own, but it's also exacerbated issues that we have been dealing with for years. Luckily, it's given us a little bit of a sense of urgency around those issues, because it won't surprise any of you when I tell you that one of those issues has been a huge impact on our workforce, especially women and minorities. And so in order to move Kentucky forward, we really have to make sure that we addressed these problems, new and old alike, and we hit them head on, because those who have suffered from those inequities for generations, we can't afford not to. And so first, I want to talk about our goal at the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. We work every day to give Kentuckians the tools that are necessary to build thriving and healthy families and communities. We primarily want to make sure that we ensure that there is a world-class education system available for our students, and that we have a highly skilled workforce. These two pillars, education and workforce development, provide Kentucky with a foundation for local and statewide economies, because they go hand in hand. An educated workforce is a prepared workforce, and a prepared workforce is one that is ready for the jobs of the future. So at EWDC, we provide services from Kentuckians in what we call cradle to career. Unfortunately, there are gaps in educational attainment before we ever even get to a classroom. Not every kid gets pre-K opportunities in Kentucky. We have a transition from middle to high school, from high school to post-secondary life, and from post-secondary into the workforce. And that is why we are committed to continue the education and job training through the 4 E's of workforce and economic development. And they are expand, exposure, experience, and expertise. First, we have to work to expand access to early childhood education here in Kentucky. Next, in middle school, we must provide exposure to all of the community career options right in our kids' backyards. In high school, we want our students to gain real-world experience in those career options that are right in their backyard. And in post-secondary life, we want to make sure that Kentuckians have expertise in whatever field they've chosen to enter. So from the time our Kentucky students enter the education system until the time that they enter the workforce, we want them to understand what an integral part of their community's economic development they are, and to understand that there are opportunities and support that are there for them, so that we can help them to succeed at all times through all phases of education. So ultimately, we're doing this virtual bus tour to make sure that our communities, especially our communities in rural Kentucky, know what is available to them through the Education and Workforce Development Cabinet. We have found that too often Kentuckians don't know about all of the programs that are out there to support them. And we know that knowledge is power. The best example I can give you of that is that the governor mentioned the Better Kentucky Promise a few minutes ago. And this is a perfect example of the life-changing work that's being done that deserves elevation. When we work to expand the Work Ready Scholarship, what we want to do is we want to create new opportunities that provide what we refer to as the last dollar in for more than 6,300 Kentuckians to complete an associate's degree or to secure a certificate. So that's 6,300 Kentuckians and Kentucky families that are going to gain a huge edge in taking a step in moving not just their family and their community forward, but also to moving Kentucky forward. So this bus tour is part of an initiative throughout the Beshear Coleman administration to adapt to the changing landscape of education and job training and the workplace during the COVID-19 pandemic. We are committed to reaching people where they are. And there's no better example of that than the commitment we have made to improve broadband services across the Commonwealth. Our goal is to bring every Kentuckian into this conversation, no matter their zip code. So the programs that you will hear about today are available in every corner of the Commonwealth, from Pikeville to Paducah and from Maysville to Monticello, because rural economic development is a top priority of mine and of this cabinet's. But we need your help to get the word out. We need your help to make sure that the folks in your communities know about all of these opportunities that we are able to offer. So I want to first say thank you to all of our local partners who are joining us today, and so many of you who played a role in helping make today possible. So thank you for helping to make this virtual bus tour happen and for bringing this to your community, because together we are going to build the workforce, the jobs, and the economy of the future right here in Kentucky. So with all of that said, I want to turn it over to our right hand at the cabinet and the person who makes all of us run, and that is Deputy Secretary Mary Pat Regan, and she's going to continue talking about some of the programs that are available in your community. So Mary Pat, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor and Governor, for kicking us off. Just before we start, a couple housekeeping items. We do have everyone on mute, but if you have questions throughout this, you can put your questions in the chat feature, and Brennan will start logging those, and we'll address those at the end of our presentation today. So thank you all for participating today. I'm going to take you through just a brief overview of some different parts of our cabinet. And there's a lot of information in this presentation, but know that it will be posted on the local workforce board in your area on their website, and we will also have it on our website as well. So the Cabinet of Education Workforce Development, we have 13 different agencies. And while I'm not going to touch on all those today, it's vast and expansive. So I'm going to start with the Agency for Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. And this agency is responsible with supplying Kentuckians who have disabilities to become more economically self-sufficient and independent. We offer a range of different programs, tax incentives that you can take advantage of. And so if you click on the Office of Voc Rehab, you'll see all of those listed. The goals that the Office of Voc Rehab is working on for phase 2 is the Retain grant. And we are in phase 2 of that, and that is retaining employment and talent after an injury or illness. And so I know that Cora, who's our executive director, has been working really hard on that, the second phase of that grant. And if you have any questions on that, you can go on our website at retain@uky.gov. The next stop is going to be our adult education. And as the Lieutenant Governor said, there are areas where we see gaps. I think this is one that we can bring a lot of focus and energy to. There are approximately 350,000 working age Kentuckians that don't have a diploma, high school diploma or certification or equivalent. And, we know going forward that 62% of Kentucky's job will require some level of post-secondary education, a GED or certification. So this is an area where I think that we can make great strides in. One of the things that I've learned in talking with individuals throughout the state is that many adults maybe did not have a good experience in high school. And so going back into the classroom for them is a barrier. So as the Lieutenant Governor said, we want to meet people where they are. We want to be creative in how we offer these programs, whether that's online, if that's in a community center. So I would ask people out in the state if you have ideas on how we can break down some of those barriers like transportation, going into a classroom. We are ready and willing to look at all ideas. The next slide is on our free GED program, and this has been a focus of the Beshear Coleman administration. First time GED takers, this is free. We've increased our numbers substantially over the last year, and we'll continue to do that. In addition, we have the VETS program, which is actually located in the labor cabinet, but I did want to mention that it is available. There are several areas of grants, of outreach programs, of employment, the work opportunity tax credit. So if you have questions on the VETS programs, we are happy to connect you to our labor group and they can help you with that. In addition, we have many different partners in the VETS program, the Homeless Veterans Program. We have the Kentucky Department of Veteran Affairs and the Kentucky Veterans Accelerated Learning for Licensed Occupation. So those are all areas that we are happy to connect you to. And I'm going to turn it back to the Lieutenant Governor to talk about the Work Ready Scholarship.
Thank you so much, Deputy Secretary Regan. I appreciate it. So the Work Ready Scholarship is something that we're very excited to work towards expanding with the Better Kentucky Promise. And the challenge that we face, and again, I'm not telling you folks at the local level anything you don't already know, but there are so many jobs in Kentucky that are going unfilled because workers don't have the training that employers need. And the good thing about this is these workers don't always need 4 years of college to get a great job or to get the skills that are needed to fill these to fill these roles. So often they can take one class that will lead to college credit, that will lead to a better paying job, an industry certification, or even be the beginning of an associate's degree. We know that 5 years after graduating with an associate's degree, our students in the trades are making over $51,000 a year on average. And so that's why I'm so excited to promote the Work Ready Scholarship. It provides free tuition in over 350 courses, and it offers classes online and on campus, and it's designed to allow our fellow Kentuckians to get in, get out, and get to work quickly. The scholarship is not income-based. It does not require essay or GPA. If you aren't looking for a new job, that's okay too, because this program could actually help you to create more opportunities within your current job and to rise up in that position. So you can take advantage of this and be on your way to making more money and be on your way to earning an associate's degree by calling 833-711-WRKS, or you can go to workreadykentucky.com. Next up is the FAFSA, and I always joke that I'm convinced that my team makes me say this as many times as they can because I have a hard time saying it. So just bear with me on that. but we know that higher education is going to play a crucial role in our economic recovery. And it's going to be the way that we help our adults gain new employability skills and how we are going to prepare students, old and young, for a completely new generation of jobs. These are the benefits that start with taking a positive step like filling out the FAFSA form, which allows thousands of students to secure the financial resources necessary to begin their post-secondary educational journey, whatever that might be. The FAFSA, which is short for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, is required for students to be eligible for Pell Grants and for student loans. And this is what we know. Students who complete the form are far more likely to enroll in college, and those who actually receive aid are more likely to stay in college. So one of the challenges that the pandemic has presented to us is it has closed our school buildings. And so what that has caused is a lot of students have lost touch with counselors who would typically be guiding them through this financial aid process. Couple that with families that don't have reliable internet access, and you can imagine that we're very concerned that we're going to see a significant decrease in applications in the FAFSA, which would obviously lead to a significant decrease in enrollment in higher education this fall. And that's not the direction we want to go in. So right now, it is crucial that our students and families know why and how to complete their FAFSA. You'll see the requirements that are here on the screen as I'm talking, but first and most importantly, you've got to create your FSAID. And you can do that at fsaid.ed.gov. So once you create this ID and you provide the necessary information to get that account started, you have to make sure to check your email regularly so that you can stay up to date on the financial aid process and any kind of updates that may be coming your way. So for further assistance on this issue, opening the door to college with dollars in the form of student loans or Pell Grants, you can call or text the number that's on the screen, or you can visit KHEAA.com, which is KHEAA.com. And there you will be connected with an outreach counselor who can help you through this process. So given that information about post-secondary educational opportunities and funding, I'm going to turn it back over to Deputy Secretary Regan.
Thanks, Lieutenant Governor. The next pathway we have in our cabinet for education is our Commission on Proprietary Education. And these are the for-profit schools that we license. And this is another option for people. We have CLD schools, nursing schools, ag tech, we have IT, coding. So there's a lot of opportunity within our career and technical schools. And Missy Edwards, who is our executive director, can also connect you to different programs and grants that might be available for students who are looking to go in that direction as well. Then our next agency is our Office of Employer and Apprenticeship Services. And I refer to this as kind of we help navigate and connect the dots for employees and employers through recruitment, upskilling, and incentives. And there are several different apprenticeship programs that we have in place. We are looking at creating new apprenticeship programs. And as we talked about the difficulty during the pandemic, it's also an opportunity to kind of rethink how our apprenticeship services work. What are the jobs of the future? As many of you know, that the jobs that were in place pre-pandemic probably will not be there as we come out of this. And so in order for us to build a better Kentucky, we need to have new apprenticeships and programs. So any ideas that anyone may have, we're certainly open to looking at that. And the other thing I wanted to just touch on is the work opportunity tax credit. And I'm not sure that a lot of employers are familiar with this, but but this is a tax credit of $1,200 to $9,600 that are available to employers for hiring and retaining from different targeted areas, which are listed below. So any questions you have on that, please feel free to give us a call and we will help you work through that. With that, I'm going to turn this over to John Lyons, our Executive Director of the Work Innovation Board.
Hello, everyone. Again, this is John Lyons. I'm the Executive Director of the KWIB. And in addition to the vision that you see of the KWIB up on your screen now, I want to share with you the main focus of the KWIB, which is to create a workforce development system that's value-driven for employers, that aligns education with our industry's demands, and prepares Kentuckians for the future of work and drives economic development in the state. The way that we're really looking to drive that economic development is through our local workforce development areas. As you can see on the screen, the state is broken up into 10 different local workforce development areas, and our virtual bus tour is making 5 different stops at each of these areas, combining 2 of the areas together. At our stop today, we're going to be talking with representatives from the South Central and the Lincoln Trail local workforce development areas. They're going to talk to you about specific opportunities, programs, and supports that they're going to have in your local areas to help you get re-engaged with the workforce. First, from the South Central region, I would like to introduce the new director, John Sword. John, the floor is all yours.
All right. Thank you, John, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you might be watching us from. My name is John Swords. I'm the president and CEO of the South Central Workforce Development Board. And our board is represents 10 counties in South Central Kentucky. And we have 2 Kentucky Career Centers to serve customers, one in Bowling Green, one in Glasgow. We also have 17 access points in our region. We have 1 or more access points in each of our 10 counties. And the whole idea is to meet customers where they are and to ease access, particularly if you can't get to one of our Kentucky Career Centers. So we're very proud of that. Kind of moving to the middle of this slide, we really serve 2 customers, employers and job seekers. With regard to job seekers, we serve all job seekers. If you need assistance, if you need assistance with employment, career preparation assistance, we are here to help, and we are glad to help. But that said, we do have 5 focused populations that we kind of key in on and create special programming for with some of our resources. And those five focused populations are those that are long-term unemployed, secondary and post-secondary students, new Americans, reentry or justice-related individuals, and military veterans. We also prioritize 5 industry sectors, and these 5 industries really are the economic powerhouse of our region. Those are manufacturing, healthcare, business, IT, construction, and transportation, distribution, and logistics. And the reason we really key in on these is because each of these industries has, they're high demand and they provide high wages and good benefits packages. So if we can help somebody get into one of these 5 industry sectors, they're going to make a sustainable wage and improve themselves. Moving to the right, here are our top 10 advertised jobs in South Central Kentucky. What I would say first is that every month on average in South Central Kentucky, we have over 7,000 open jobs. Our region is doing very, very well economically. We have jobs. So we, if you need employment, we've got it. And, here's just, our top 10 of what's out there. It's certainly not inclusive of all the different job and career opportunities that we've got. If we could move forward a slide. So what I'll start with here, and it's not on the slide, is that, when you come to a Kentucky Career Center, we have resources available for those, for all job seekers, but in particular, those that may have barriers to entry into the workforce. If you're having trouble getting into the workforce or you need to be upskilled, we can bring some resources to bear. And what we do in South Central Kentucky is we really focus in on short-term training programs such as CDL, Certified Nursing Assistant, phlebotomy, If somebody qualifies, we can pay for that training and kind of get them that certification and get them launched into one of these career paths in one of our priority industries. So, that is something we do all day, every day, 365 days a year. Some of the things you'll see on this slide, however, are that I'll talk to are a little bit unique. First is My Workforce Future. This is a new initiative that we've got here in South Central Kentucky. And it's really, this is an initiative that's designed to close the skills gap that exists. Employers need certain skills. They're having difficulty finding them in the workforce. And so we're bringing to bear some resources to provide those skills and help get folks placed in a much more expedited fashion. Kentucky Career Edge, this is a statewide learning management system platform that, it's statewide, but we've had it here in South Central Kentucky for a couple of years. And it's just a tremendous tool for somebody to use for career preparation. It's mobile friendly. It's got great learning modules on it in terms of career preparation. It's got a great resume builder and a fantastic interview simulator. So anybody we work with, we pretty much have them enroll into Kentucky Career Edge, and it allows them to do a lot of that career preparation work using that platform. And for us, we can kind of brush them up and get them, help them find employment once they've worked through some of those modules. Web Development Coding Academy. This is a 15-week program that we've started this spring. We're about halfway through the program. We'll be running it again in the fall. But it's a phenomenal training opportunity that's provided by the BC Skills Coding Academy. And what happens at the end of 15 weeks for the folks that get through this course is they'll test and become junior front-end web developers. And their average starting salary is going to be between $55,000 and $65,000 a year. And many of these folks will be able to work from home. I mean, they won't have to. They may be working for companies that may reside outside of South Central Kentucky, but it's a gig economy, and they'll be able to work from the comfort of their own home in many cases. Post-secondary talent retention. We identified over a year ago that we're losing. We have a lot of very talented post-secondary graduates that leave the region. And so we're trying to reverse that trend. And we've put some resources and some initiatives in place to really better connect post-secondary graduates, either out of trade school or out of a 4-year program with internship and placement opportunities upon graduation. And then lastly, what I'll highlight is that, we've put some infrastructure in at Fort Campbell to really try to tap into that huge talent pipeline down there that exits the military each year. I'll conclude with this. On the bottom right of the slide, there's a phone number, there's an email, and there's our website on how to contact us. On the top right, you can see our social media. We're very, very active on social media. We have intake forms. We make it very easy to connect with us, and so that we can partner together and get you employment ready or get you into that new career. So that's my spiel for this morning, and I'll turn it back over to John Lyons, pending any questions.
Thank you so much, John. I'd say we really appreciate everything that you all are doing down there in South Central, and I'm really excited to have you join us as our newest local workforce development area director. Thank you again.
Yeah.
And with that, we'd like to move on to our Lincoln Trail area. I'd like to turn things over to Dennis Courtney. He's going to talk to us about the opportunities available in the Lincoln Trail local workforce development area.
I believe we have Sherry Johnson from Lincoln Trail with us today.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Sherry, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
I apologize.
Not a problem. And good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And we thank everyone for the opportunity to talk with you this morning about things that are going on in the Lincoln Trail region. I don't want to cover a lot of the same items that my colleague John just covered, but I do want to point out some important information on this slide. At the bottom, you'll see ltcareercenter.org. If you're interested as an employer to find out labor market information, if you're wanting information about how you can post jobs, how you want to get assistance in meeting your hiring needs, you can contact that email address. If you're a job seeker and you need specialized assistance, if you're underemployed, you have never worked, if you need some assistance on all of the programs that the Lieutenant Governor and the Deputy Secretary have covered, you can contact that email address. The second thing I want to point out on this slide is Carter Dyson is a person that you can contact, and his email address, he is our one-stop operator. And it's important for people to know that even though our centers are physically closed right now for services, the services are available, and you can contact him either via his email or the Career Center website. And the last thing I want to point out on this website, or on this particular slide, is our local Workforce Development Board has 23 business and community leaders that are very focused on meeting many of the items that the governor, the lieutenant governor, and John mentioned about the KWEB strategic plan. Our board is currently in the process of updating their strategic plan. We had started pre-pandemic working on items such as making childcare available for second and third shift employees, because it's not available in our region. There is no public transportation in the region, and transportation appears to be a huge barrier for individuals trying to go to work. The board worked with the former Hardin Memorial Hospital, now part of the Baptist Health Care System, developing an expungement program for employees to have their criminal records expunged, and the employer, in this particular case, Hardin Memorial Hospital, paid for that record to be expunged. We also have begun to look at developing additional reentry programs, recovery programs in the area, but we also need to figure out mental health issues. And we need to figure out how we can make our region better than it was pre-pandemic. We do have 4 centers in our region. Our comprehensive center is in Elizabethtown. We have centers in Litchfield and Bardstown and Lebanon. Lebanon has county staff that are currently providing in-person services for employment opportunities, testing, and workshops. And then just to cover a couple programs real briefly that we have going on in the region. Fort Knox is the economic engine in our area. And most of you may know that the Human Resources Command located at Fort Knox within the past 8 to 10 years, it is the largest human resources agency in the United States. And we have it right here in our region. Well, when they moved to the region, they had to bring in IT staff from all over the country to handle their operations. Well, those people are now retiring. So the folks at Fort Knox and the non-DOD employers and civilian contractors asked us to convene and broker discussions with community partners on developing a coding academy specific to their training needs. With the assistance of the Education Workforce Development Cabinet, statewide reserve dollars, we were able to work with the Elizabethtown Community and Technical College to start a program last year. It started about a month before the pandemic hit. We had 20 slots available. We actually enrolled 30 and 28 graduated. The first 2 who were hired at Fort Knox had just recently graduated from high school as well, and their starting salary is $65,000 a year. We're also working with the U.S. Army on a pilot project that we started back in the fall as the 5th Corps announced that they were moving to Fort Knox, and that's to provide opportunities to military spouses. what we're trying to do there is before they come, or if they're already in the region, if they need some career coaching, if they need assistance with employment and training options, or they're interested in meeting and networking with a peer in the community, they can contact us and we will make the necessary connections and work with them to welcome them to our region and to help them find employment. Past month, we've probably had 50 requests, and there are new transfer orders being sent out to soldiers all across the world. And on that order is information about visiting the greaterfortknox.com website for additional information. Again, short-term training is critical right now. We have on-the-job training opportunities with local employers. Our 5 key sectors are the same as the state and other regions across the Commonwealth. But if you're interested in short-term training, if you're interested in going into nursing, whatever, not only do you have access to the Work Ready Scholarship, FAFSA, but you also have access to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act training funds as well. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, John.
Thank you so much, Sherry. And again, I apologize.
No problem.
Messing up who is going to be presenting everything for us today. But I'm so excited about all the things you all have going on down in Lincoln Trail. And I want to remind everyone on here that we've presented so much information. And I know that a lot of it that you may need to go back and look at. All of our virtual bus stop tours will be posted on the cabinet website. Hopefully Brendan can share that with us in the chat. And so you'll be able to go back if you missed a phone number, if you missed a contact number, if you missed a link to be able to go to one of the programs that you feel like interests you, you'll be able to go back and get those. And do remember that not all of our KCC services are going to be available in person, but all of our KCC centers have become so adept at meeting our needs either by phone or virtually. So please do not hesitate to reach out and they'll be able to take care of all your needs there. And with that, I'm going to turn things back over to our Deputy Secretary, Mary Pat Regan.
Great. Thanks, John. And boy, there's a lot of great work, great opportunities for people. So, we stand ready to work with you in looking for ways to help people get back into the workforce, back into school. So if there are any questions, you can put them in the chat and Brennan will let me know if we get any.
So far, we haven't received any.
Okay. Well, with that, thank you again for participating today. Any questions, feel free to contact any of us, and we look forward to working with you as we move forward.